Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday Funday. And as you can see, we saw Aladdin. No, we didn't see Brightburn. I don't think it was. No, it was playing in our theater, but it's like had two showings. And of course, this one wanted to see Aladdin a lot more, since, as I have already made it abundantly clear, I did not grow up with Aladdin really as part of my childhood. My childhood consisted of Total Recall, RoboCop 2, Terminator 2, robots and sci-fi.
His favorite movie as a kid was Total Recall. Mine was Little Mermaid.
I was a weird kid.
I grew up during the Disney Renaissance. Well, technically we both did. It's just I grew up on Disney.
Yeah, like the first real Disney movie I remember seeing was Lion King. That tells you anything. Hi, you and ya, this video's gonna be short down. I got her snorting. Anytime I win.
When what?
I win the snort war.
You are still sometime gonna have to explain that. It's like, what the hell? The snort war.
Oink oink. Man. But besides us being goofy and weird, I'm going to let this one start us off because she actually has a lot more of a personal history with Aladdin. Well, I was like, man, it's a movie. I saw it once as a kid and I never bothered to watch it again. So, what did you think of this new live action Aladdin? I don't know what accent I'm going for there. No matter what, it feels very, very wrong.
Yeah, it feels almost kind of racist.
Yeah, it feels a lot racist.
Whatever region it's from.
It feels racist to whatever region. It feels racist to all regions. But, speaking of Aladdin, what did you think of this movie, though? This live-action remake?
Well, as everyone who watches our videos knows, I've been, praying, please be good. Please be, Beauty and the Beast remake good. And not, Jungle Book or...
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I didn't take as much issue with Alice in Wonderland. It was more just confused, what the... I feel like I was dropped in the middle of something.
To be fair, we all were because we didn't realize it was actually a remake and also a sequel to the original. It's that Tim Burton remake still does not make a whole lot of sense. There are little chunks of that movie I still don't understand what the hell's going on.
Well, he redeemed himself with Dumbo, at least.
In a fashion. So, what about Aladdin?
Yeah, thankfully, I was not too terribly disappointed. I mean, by the end of it all, I was like, okay, I like that. I found it very charming. It hit a lot of the same beats of the original, but I feel kind of like with the two different Parent Traps, the remake with Lindsay Lohan hit a lot of the same beats as the original with Haley Mills, but obviously he can't comment.
I've never seen either one.
It hits a lot of the same beats, but to me it has its own charm to it somehow. I don't know how they managed to pull that off. Just like with this, I don't know how they managed to pull that off.
Well, I think the charm somewhat might come from the director who was Guy Ritchie. Of course, Sherlock Holmes, Revolver. I know people are like, wow, that's a shift in genres there.
King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
You have a bug on you. I got it off.
I
have bugs. I don't know where they come from. They're gnats.
Yeah, we keep having a buddy crawling on me.
Well, regardless of all that, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that has its own charm. Although the more we were talking about some of the flaws and kind of comparing it to the original, the more I realized okay, maybe it wasn't quite as charming as I thought. Some of the shine is starting to come off, but I enjoyed it still. Oh. I would be willing to own this eventually.
I don't want to. This isn't a steaming pile of shit. Don't get me wrong. This is nowhere near Alice in Wonderlands or Alice in Wonderlands. There's multiples now. It's nowhere near.
They didn't do a sequel.
The sequel, I think, somehow was actually worse.
I haven't seen it, so I can't.
It uses, what's the word I'm looking for? It uses a lot of stuff from the first movie.
Pretty much a retreading.
Yeah, in certain regards. And there's other stuff, it's like, here, we're going to tell you more about the Red Queen. It's like, why? I don't care. She's kind of an asshole. Nothing about her character is made better because of what you learn. But that's neither here nor there.
Or anyway.
So, about Aladdin in my particular point of view, my original issues with the first or the original Aladdin is the fact that I never found any of the songs particularly memorable. Whole New World, of course, is like the big one, but even then I always thought, it's okay. There's no villain song, so that's kind of a problem.
Sort of is one. It's a reprise of a previous song.
But even then, it's not really, a villain, proper villain song. It's no Be Prepared or Poor Unfortunate Souls or Friends on the Other Side. Or even though Friends on the Other Side is a newer song, it's still, it's not one of those.
Not like a true villain song that really introduces the villain and like
shows that nefarious means.
Like all their hopes and dreams and wishes and.
Yeah, there's no hellfire.
Yeah.
Of course, there's no way you can have a hellfire because hellfire's fucking phenomenal, and Tony J's, a god. He's a Sunday too. But, so I never really gelled with the first one, mostly because it seemed to be a lot about Aladdin, but the main draw was supposed to be the genie. Which, don't get me wrong, I like Robin Williams' genie. He can't fucking sing is a big problem. Just let's all fully admit, Robin Williams does not know how to sing.
No, I'm going to disagree with you there.
I can't help it that you don't know how singers work. He doesn't really know how to keep.
You don't have any taste.
He has a charm because it's like, it's like watching a moron try to sing because they don't know what they're doing. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead. He's funny. He's great at ad-libbing. There's some great ad-lib moments, but dear God, anytime Robin Williams tries to sing, it's always like The Rock whenever The Rock tries to sing. The Rock can't carry a tune in a bucket.
I thought The Rock was alright.
You never listened to his WWE songs then, have you? Yes, I have. I listened to his song about pie. It's meant to be a euphemism, but it's about as beat you over the head with that stick about as humanly hard as possible. Why do I retain this pointless information?
Because I think that section of your brain, like, right about here, go to useless facts that...
It's a Rolodex of useless facts. I have useless bullshit I don't need to remember. But, yeah, so the big problem is the genie was good, and Jafar was good in the original, speaking of the original.
Yeah, Jonathan Freeman.
Jasmine's pointless in the movie. Aladdin's kind of pointless in the movie. They're nothing characters, and that's one of the big problems throughout Aladdin, the original, was that I was like, okay, well, the two leads are boards. They are just two pieces of wood. They're knocking against each other to make babies.
Although I found Scott Weinger, I think that's how the name is pronounced, I found him charming. As he also played Steve on Full House.
He's charming in a way Stephen Amell is charming. Oh, look, it's something that looks nice and sounds sort of okay. Leave my stuff alone.
Let's see, you have shit on your hands, otherwise I'd beat you with it like a redhead stepchild.
But it's just... So that's my issues with the original. Just the original, it's only one character. It's the genie, and Jafar is a supporting character. And unfortunately, they're supporting characters in their movie that technically was named after somebody else. For this one, I would get some of the same issues, although a little bit weirder. Aladdin, for the first, I'd say probably about 10-15 minutes, he's really wooden. It's a weird thing. I don't know what was going on there. He eventually opens up and is a little bit better. Just, I think his acting at first, it was very like he was just reading off of the cue cards. It's like, is he walking this? It's like, I like a Christopher Walken. You have not earned that with me, sir. And Jasmine, she was all right, played by Naomi Scott. Is that her name? Naomi Scott. Pink Ranger from Power Rangers, probably the best thing I know her from. And she's fine, but it's a lot of like they're supposed to have this chemistry together. They're cute, but they kind of seem like a boyfriend girlfriend that are really young. Like the story actually has them, where I want to say he's 18, she's like 12. You know. Who knows?
Romeo and Juliet, huh?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. And then, you get to see them doing some songs, because this does have some of the songs from the original movie. Though,
see them doing some songs.
you get to see some of the songs that they were going to do. Like the, where he's running from the, fucking temple guard, whatever, Agrabah guards, bunch of medallions. I don't remember. But
the song he's referring to is One Jump Ahead.
And let me just tell you all this much. It feels awkward.
Yeah, I will say, like, I think it's a nice little twist on, on the song from the original. And that Jasmine is actually included in this. In the number. I mean, she's not really...
She doesn't do anything. She's just
I was like, she's just running around. And it was like, oh, what do I do now? And while he's, like, running around and singing.
Just starts singing. And it's one of those, it's very abrupt. And that's the problem, I think.
Yeah, I will even admit, it's like, okay, I liked it. I liked his inclusion. But overall, it felt very hammered in. Like, it felt very like, okay, let's hurry up and, get the song out of the way. And it's like...
Just song, so we can go to the next song. Let's go to the next song.
And they just couldn't find any other way to just naturally fit the song in there.
They couldn't even have them, like, lightly singing up to it, like, with no musical instrumentation or anything. It's just suddenly, he just starts singing. It's like, fuck is happening? Like, I think I kind of looked around and was like, what is happening? Oh, we're a song. Okay, cool. This is weird.
Well, I mean, towards the end when she was singing that song about she refuses to be silent.
Yeah.
That one guard, like, kind of staring at her like, what the hell you want about?
Yeah, Jasmine also has a song. I don't know if was that from the original. I don't remember this movie that much.
No, she has. There's one song he sings about being a street rat, and then she has her own song
about wanting a voice because that's her story in this.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of continuing some themes from the original in that, like, she just wants to be her own person, wants to be able to make her own decisions, and, decide for herself who she wants to marry, except in this one, she's like, okay, well, why can't I be the Sultan? Why can't I, lead our people? Because who else is going to love our people and care about our people, more than, me? I grew up here.
It's a fine enough sentiment. And like I said, Naomi Scott does a decent enough job, and she sings really well. We'll give her that much. She actually sings really good. And she gives, I think, Jasmine a lot more life than the other young lady. She didn't do bad. She's just completely pointless. There's nothing to Jasmine. She's the princess.
Well, I think it helps, it's like we kind of get, basic motivations in the original, but they're not really explored. And this one, she's, I think, on camera more than even Aladdin.
Well, to be fair, there's a good reason for that. Aladdin kind of consistently cannot act real well. Nothing against the poor guy. Just there's a lot of moments where he should be emoting in a certain way and it's not being done, or there's certain emotions he should be giving off that should be a little more downplayed. Instead, they're being overplayed. It's like, okay, thanks. And there's other lines he just doesn't deliver as well. And that's whenever I began to realize, what's Aladdin's real deal? Like, what makes him an interesting character? And that's a problem I consistently had throughout this entire movie, is that Aladdin's not a very interesting character. Jasmine's an alright character, though she does have a baffling ass song. Like, at one point, I want my own voice. And it's fine, except for during the song, like, when she finally gets to really belt it out.
Yeah, this is the second song she has sing by herself.
Yeah.
I think it's called Speechless or something, or basically sings like, I refuse to be silent. And
but everybody's Infinity War melting away around her, and it's weird. And it destroys the atmosphere of the song. You're like,
it's kind of an awkward sequence where she's kind of walking and everybody just kind of like floats away on the wind, and she's like, and like Jafar's like frozen there, and she's like kind of like singing right at him, and it's like, oh, okay. I was like, I know what y'all are going for. I get that, but it's like it's very awkward how it was filmed.
It was one of those moments. So. Because I was actually kind of jazzing with the movie. Because mind you, this happens in about near 20 minutes from the end. So about an hour and 40 minutes in. And like I said, I was beginning to jazz the movie. Though the first like 10, 15 minutes of the movie I didn't give a shit about.
Yeah.
It took me right the fuck out of the movie. And I'm like...
Yeah, it's kind of an awkward sequence. I was like trying to think, I was like, oh, I guess... I was like, what? Like, what happened to the guards? It's like she used magic on it, was like, or something. It's like, oh, I guess she's supposed to be like, because the guards are taking her away somewhere. I was like, oh, I guess she's like, locked up in a room already. It's like warping us there. I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, I went to there, but then she walks through these doors and these guards don't do anything about her, and they just like disappear too. I'm like, okay, what?
There's a lot that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I guess it's supposed to be like it's all happening in her mind. It's like, okay,
why did I need to see this?
Yeah, it was confusing at first, and I was like, yeah, it took me out of it a little bit, but then it's like, okay, it's like I'm just gonna forget what the hell is going on. I'm just gonna focus on the song. I like the song. The song's pretty, and like Naomi Scott, like she can sing.
I wish I could do that. I could not focus on the song because I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? I was doing it really bad, and I'm like, I almost wanted to turn to you and go.
Yeah, because there's kind of this theme of like Jafar trying to shut her up and like, know your place. You should be seen and not heard. And she's like, no, I will not be silent. I will not be speechless. I will have a voice. And
but beside all of that, because unfortunately Naomi Scott's not really important to the entire plot, oddly enough.
Although, I would say like there's a bit of a feminist twist.
They make her the Sultan at the end of the movie. I ruined the movie there for you. Ooh. I slightly
spoilers.
Who cares? It's Aladdin.
Yeah, like pretty much
it's a 20-year-old movie at this point.
She saves herself, pretty much. Like, okay.
And not really. She doesn't save herself. It's still the genie and still Aladdin that saves her. Just the one who eventually gives her the freedom is the Sultan to do what she wants to do. Thanks.
Instead of relying on her father, the Sultan, to change the law.
He makes her Sultan, so he just changes the law himself.
Yeah, saying it's like, okay, I was like, well, if you want to change the law, it's like, he's a good man.
And the big, like I said, there's also one big thing that I'm ignoring that I need to talk about. Motherfucking Jafar. Holy shit, is this guy terrible.
The actor.
Yeah, the actor. Not the... Like, I don't mind the character from the original film. Like I said, he was one of the highlights, I thought. Not that he was great. He wasn't a memorable villain, but he was a good villain.
Yeah, when you think like Disney villains, he's probably not one of the first that comes to mind.
Yeah.
But still, Jonathan Freeman portrayed him with like this delightful, like, sinisterness.
Instead, the guy who they got in this film decided that the best way should be ham. It is like, so over the top.
Best to no one.
It's so over the top and overwrought. I'm like, the fuck is he doing?
And I will say, they do try to give Jafar a bit more depth and like try and give him a bit more background and better motivations, but It's like, but I mean, they try to. They don't do very much.
They half-ass it
with it. I mean, they mention like, oh, I was like you once. I was a thief.
when he's talking to Aladdin,
Yeah.
right before he's about to throw him in the giant mouth of the lion thing.
The Cave of Wonders.
The mouth lion thing that still is not explained.
It was not a lion. It was a tiger. It was a tiger. Mother, the Cave of Wonders. One of these days, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you
the original that much.
I'm going to show you the original again.
I'm good. I have better things to do. I'll watch Godzilla again instead. That's a shift. But
I do.
God damn, Jafar is terrible in this movie. Like, there's a point that you can have a hammy villain, but like take Jeremy Irons in Dungeons and Dragons. Hell, anything Jonathan Rhys Meyers is allowed to be the villain, like in the fucking what's it called? City of Bones. Mortal Instruments movies. Jonathan Rhys Meyers is fucking awesome.
Well, like the one movie they made.
Yeah.
And they turned into a TV show.
Well, no, they just ignored the movie.
Well,
Because they had to redo the plot of City of Bones.
That's what I'm saying. That they turned the whole series, it's like
No, they just decided.
rather than continue on. They didn't do like with the last Divergent thing.
They haven't done that. They haven't done 4. They were gonna, they just haven't yet.
I said they were supposed to be released as a TV movie.
Nobody wants to do it. That's the problem. When the actors want to do it.
I'm surprised they lasted this long.
They were getting money, so they ain't care.
But I'm just saying that.
But regardless of any of that. Besides Moral Instruments, I don't give a shit about Moral Instruments. I gave up after the 3rd book. But regardless of all of that, like I said, I don't mind a hammy villain. I like a good hammy villain in a shit movie because they can make it better. But when you have a movie where, oh, this is Jasmine really good, fuck, he's back on screen and he's been over the top and silly and doing bug eyes for no reason. And
yeah, it's just his performance. I think what you're trying to say is that his performance is inconsistent with everybody else's, except for maybe like
it's like you had Jim Carrey on crack at times. And it wasn't the fun Jim Carrey that... It was Man on the Moon, Jim Carrey behind the scenes, where you just wanted to stab him in the chest a few times with an ice pick. Jim Carrey, he said he was doing Andy Kaufman behind the scenes. In short, everybody behind the scenes fucking hated him on Man on the Moon. Because he was just a prick the entire movie. But holy shit, Jafar is so terrible, and I don't know what the hell they had this guy doing. Like, another example of a villain that's kind of being a little melodramatic and almost could be over the top, Jude Law, and again, another Guy Ritchie movie, King Arthur. It's a little bit more downplayed, over the topness. He's still a bit on the goofy side at times. But you never were like, I feel like I'm watching a cartoon character. Or you never felt like Jude Law couldn't act. This guy consistently, I'm like, does this guy even know how to act? And I look like, oh, he's got tons of acting credits. So I guess that doesn't mean shit because he can't fucking act. And every time you're trying to take him be serious or anything, it comes off somebody who's like, ooh. It's like playing Dr. Evil straight. And it doesn't work. And that's the problem, I think. And yeah, it's like, I expect him to go $1 million. I'm sorry, 1 million Raja coins. I don't know, but its currency is in Agrabah. But, yeah, he's fucking awful. But I'll say, hey, at least I got somebody to actually sing when it came to the genie parts, because Will Smith fucking can sing still. I have no surprise there. He can dance like nobody's business.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I will even say that there were a number of nods to the original. And as I said, this movie kind of hit a lot of the same beats as the original. But Will Smith, he made this role his own.
Yeah.
He is like, I mean, I was a little bit disappointed, like, during the You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me. He didn't exactly rap, though he did do a rap version for the end credits.
Though, to be fair, Rob Williams wasn't able to rap. He talked while music was playing. Let's admit that. That was not rap. That's like his baddie rap, which instead was me tightening a noose around my neck, wanting to just choke myself and kill myself. Sorry. Anybody who watched Ferngully knows my pain. My fucking
I love Ferngully.
You don't have taste.
And I love the songs, especially.
The Betty rap, first off, it's a weird way he's saying it. I wouldn't say he's singing it, he's saying it. It sounds like somebody who's trying to do an accent but doesn't know how to do an accent. It's weird.
Anywho. So, yeah. Yeah, a lot of songs are really good. Like, there's most of the songs from the original. The only one's missing is the one song that Jafar sings in the original.
Doesn't really sing. He does, like, what, 5 lines?
It's a short little song element. Again, it's a reprise from an earlier song.
Prince Ali.
Yeah, Prince Ali's reprise. Whatever how you pronounce that. But yeah, it's delightful how Jonathan Freeman sings it. And
thank God this guy wasn't singing.
I was deprived of that in this movie.
You were not deprived, you were saved of that. Because I'm pretty sure he would have, I am singing, I have so much emotion in my voice. Because instead, he was throwing all the emotion in his face and in his words. It was so awkward every time he was on screen. I'm like, what am I watching? Sorry, Jafar took me out of the movie as well every time. I'd be like, oh, cool, got Genie being cool and Aladdin actually finally having a bit of an emotion here and there. Jasmine being, an actual human being instead of a giant block of wood. And, fuck Jafar's here. I kept thinking it in my head. And it's like, oh, damn it.
Oh.
Things like, I used something in this movie I've got in a way.
Oh, speaking of Jafar, one thing a lot of people a lot of people forget, Iago.
Thank God Iago is just Alan Tudyk doing a parrot.
I'm gonna say he sort of talks, but
he's a parrot. So instead of it being Gilbert Godfrey, oh Jesus.
Yeah, it's Alan Tudyk playing another bird for Disney.
Well, he's just no longer doing robots for him. I'm waiting for Rogue One. I actually really loved Rogue One.
But yeah, he's sort of voices Iago. He does like a parrot voice. What few lines he has.
He's not.
You're in trouble.
He's just a thing that's kind of there. It's not really an important character. Much like Jafar's, thankfully, not a very important character.
Yeah. Well, I just find it interesting how they were able to incorporate Iago as such. Because I thought they were just going to have him, they were kind of like, maybe say a line or two, but for the most part, just be silent. It's like, okay, that's kind of a way to incorporate a talking animal.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's like there's some good in this movie. Genie's really good. Aladdin in the middle of the movie is actually finally good. Strange enough, finally an Aladdin movie. The CGI can be good. There is some bad parts, like some really, really bad parts, like into Black Panther levels of bad. Like during the Whole New World sequence, you would think that they would have them like actually just on a carpet and it's just green screened. or anything like that, because of course you're not going to have an actual flying carpet. Those don't exist, people. But instead, you can tell that they're literally just sitting on a giant piece of green screen, and it looks really, really funky. Because the actors are trying to interact with it, and it just looks weird. And someone's like, "Ew, that looks funky. That looks really funky."
But you gotta admit, the movie itself is very pretty.
It is pretty, and I will give them...
Very colorful.
Yeah, they did a lot with colors. That I was actually like, oh, thank goodness. Because the first movie was a lot of brown. Shit tons of brown. I know some people really love it. It's like, tell me what that movie had in brown and blue. Which, I get it. It's supposed to be set in not Arabia. But...
As they set in this desert city.
It's set in Agrabah. Which is totally not, one of the Arabian Night areas thing.
Whatever Charlie's trying to say.
But, like I said, there's
lots of red, too.
Yeah. But like I said, it's like this one actually does have a lot of color, and like I said, CGI can be good with the exception of some spots. But hey, that's neither here nor there. It's not like Justice League where it's like this movie doesn't look finished. So that's always a delight. Will Smith's Genie is actually really good, arguably better than Robin Williams, especially since he can actually fucking sing. Sorry, we just got an Amber Alert. And a flash flood warning out of nowhere, too.
I get the flash flood warning, I get the Amber Alert.
Yeah, so that's why we're like, what the hell? Thankfully, our phones on silent, or else that would have been noise. And like I said, it's like, I think Will Smith did a better job than Robin Williams. Even though Robin Williams is still a comedic god, he still was having to work within a script for an animated film. Will Smith can actually fucking sing, so there's that. That was so much better. I cannot help it. Robin Williams is a man of many talents. Singing was not one of them.
I beg to differ, but anyway. As I said before, Will Smith makes the role his own. In A Friend Like Me and Prince Ali are, like, the highlights of this movie.
Hell, he actually even sings the Arabian Nights song, which is actually, it works pretty well.
Well, I mean...
Will Smith does.
Yeah. But...
I actually like his singing on it.
I mean, Bruce Adler did it in the original, but it was for Ron Williams' merchant character, who may or may not have been the genie, but in this one, yeah, he actually is the genie telling this to his kids.
Yeah, because at the end of the movie, of course, genie's free. And he ends up marrying her handmaid.
Her handmaid, Dahlia.
She had a name?
Yeah, that name that Jasmine gave to...
Oh, I didn't know that. She never called her by that. Why would I know?
Like once or twice she called her by that. I was like, oh.
Once or twice is not good enough for me.
Like the first scene that the handmaid is introduced, she calls her by name. Whenever
you go and watch Alexander and you get bombarded with like 15 names in the span of 5 minutes, then you can come back to me and understand my complete utter confusion when people mention your name fucking once. And you'll be like, okay, I get it. You get introduced to a ton of people once and you don't know what the hell's happening.
Can't be as bad as Charles Wallace.
Oh, yeah. Talk about saying somebody's name too much.
It's like
Charles Wallace. Stop saying his fucking
okay,
name.
I get it. His name's Charles Wallace. Like, can we find something else to call him? Charles, Charlie, Chuck, CW,
Cocksucker,
Wallace, something.
I don't care. Some iron Charles Wallace. Yeah, it's not that this movie's terrible. I would argue to say it's better than Alice in Wonderland, better than Jungle Book, because I'm fucking Mowgli. Goddamn Mowgli. It made me hate that movie so much at times.
Yeah, and also there was no point to the Jungle Book remake even being.
I'd argue hard against there being a ton of a point for this to be as well. It's not that this is a bad movie. And that's one of the bad things I think out so far.
Yeah, I think we can. I mean, well, think that it kind of fixed a little bit from the original. Nowhere near as good as the Beauty and the Beast remake.
It also dug up its own problems.
Yeah, I mean, like, it brings up like Jafar's background or Jasmine's motivations, but doesn't really do
doesn't do anything
much in the way of with them. It's like,
yeah, like it kind of hints at Jafar. Used to be also a thief and all that on the street,
and like clawed his way to the position that he's in.
Yeah, and it's like it'd be nice for Will Smith's little opening thing, maybe singing over Jafar's rise to Vizier or Grand Vizier. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, I mean, he mentions something about how he's had to sacrifice and all the stuff that he's had to go through just to get to where he is. Like, well, what did you have to go through? What did you have to sacrifice? Like, I'm curious now. It's like,
even though he's giving the lines like this, and it's really awkward, and it's like,
know what I had to sacrifice, how many bodies I had to bury.
Yeah, it would have been nice if it would have been one of those. It was either you could play it as a sly villain where it'd just be like one of those, how many sacrifices I had to make, how many bodies I've had to bury. Something along that. Or you could have done it a little bit more almost coy with him. It's like, you have no idea how many bodies I've had to or how many bodies I've had to bury, how many sacrifices I've had to make, making it more and more menacing. Instead, it's just really over the top, and it sounds like a guy who just doesn't know what acting is. It's like, I am robot person. It's weird. It's awkward every time he's on the screen.
Yeah, and the movie tries to make a big deal about how power and money are not things that are going to satisfy you, because there's never going to be enough for anyone. And like, I think we both got like what they were trying to say, how they were trying to say it, but it just
stumbles on its shoelaces.
Yeah, it's like yeah, they kind of like dropped the ball a little bit, and then they picked it up. It's like, oh, here, see with the method. Like, I know what you were going for, but the lesson wasn't fully there.
I think the problem is they were juggling too much, and they wanted to do the girl power thing. They also want to do this power play thing, and
yeah,
like there was actually a possible really smart parallel they could have done between Jafar and Aladdin, especially on how they both. A line. Sorry, if I'm a little stumbling on my words, I'm a little dumb. A line I love from Daredevil Season 2, and I think everybody loves it, was Frank Castle talking to Daredevil, and he states to him, "You are just one bad day away from being me." That is a great thing you could show between Aladdin and Jafar. One has decided to still to be a thief, but be a noble thief, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Kind of
a street rat thief guy with a heart of gold.
Yeah, it's like, show that nobility within him that makes him princely without needing to be a prince.
Yeah, he's supposed to be charming and, just an all-around good guy, despite the fact that he steals. He usually just steals to survive.
Yeah, but besides all of that, show the parallels between him and Jafar, because we see where Jafar is, but show us where Jafar was, so that way we can see where Aladdin possibly could have turned more towards that, and went straight for pure power or whatnot. It's just never committed enough, and I think it's just a little too many ideas that would have thrown around, and none of them were able to be as fleshed out as it was. Again, it's not terrible. Just, I want to be honest, I'm not going to remember this movie next week. I'm going to barely remember that I watched it by the end of the year. Like, we're going to be going through to figure out our worst stuff, and I'm going to go, oh, that was a movie. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. So, like I said, it's not the best, it's not the worst, it's a lot of So, what would you give Aladdin for your final score.
Well, as we've been talking about, it has its flaws, has its problems. But I still really enjoyed it overall. I am an 8.
I'm going to give this a 5. It's not the worst movies ever. It's not the worst movie ever. Just, I give this the exact same score as the other one. Simply because where the other one had 2 really good characters, well, actually one really good character and one pretty good character surrounded by a bunch of fluff. This one has 2, again, good characters, and there's a lot of fluff and one real shit spot. But thankfully that shit spot, as bad as Jafar is, I will say he's at least not as pivotal till the last 15 or so minutes. And that's, I think, what really brought me down out of the movie. Just Jafar was being over the top. And it's, God, it's like he's in a bad episode of Power Rangers. Jesus. It's really bad.
He's trying to make up for the fact Aladdin's a little bland at times.
A little bland. He's bland all the way from the 90s. Let's just fully admit that. You couldn't tell me anything about Aladdin except for he's charming. And that's everybody, I think, that like, he's...
Well, and then he, like, this version of him, like, wasn't that charming.
Didn't help the guy felt like he was 14. I get they wanted to make him feel a little young. He felt really young at times. Almost juvenile.
Yeah, Scott Weinger, just with his voice, had more charm.
Yeah, but you gotta watch it. You gotta leave him be young, but not too old. There'll be Nick Nolte out there stealing. I'm gonna get you some Bradley. Sorry. But hey, that's Aladdin. I'd say go see Avengers Endgame again. Go watch Long Shot or anything like that. You know, you can skip Aladdin. It's not. Go watch it when it comes on Netflix or on Disney Plus later this year. It's not that important of a movie. But hey, next week, we get to see something I've been looking forward to for quite a while.
Isn't this the end of...
We have one more movie that still technically comes out, even though we're going to watch it in June. It comes out May 31st.
Yeah. I was saying, isn't it time for... It's like, isn't that time of the month to do next month?
Oh, no, it's not our period yet. It's once a month.
Well, it does happen once a month.
Yeah, but hey, we will give you what we're going to watch throughout June after we watch the final movie that's going to be coming out for May that I am so looking forward to, that there is going to be an entire theater just covered in white. I cannot help it. It's looked badass, and everything I've heard, critics are complaining the fact that there's a lot of monsters fighting, which that's alright for the Godzilla fan of me.
Isn't that kind of the point of the movie?
People pissed and moaned because in Transformers they fought a lot. It's like, y'all never watched a Transformers episode, did y'all?
It's like, what the hell did you come here for? A bunch of robots standing around talking?
Talking about feelings. But hey,
talking about where they come from or something.
Very much. But hey, we'll get to see Godzilla, King of the Monsters. And hey, I get to show this one some Godzilla movies. Well, a Godzilla movie and a King Kong movie, oddly enough. Yeah. So hey, we'll be back next week with Godzilla and also what we're going to be doing for June. And I think we all know what the first week of June is going to entail for us. I think that's a car. I hope so. Well, somebody needs to quit eating beans. But hey, then, till then, we'll see y'all later. So watch Avengers Endgame. Bye-bye, everybody.